Welcome to the Eric Avisar Show. Time for part 2 of my UEFA Champions League group stage preview series. We're going to focus on Group B. In my opinion, the group of death. Possibly the strongest group from top to bottom. Very strong argument to make as the best from 1 to 3. But FC Barcelona, a team that has been notorious for receiving favorable draws. That narrative does not apply to this year's group stage, as the Blaugrana will be going up against the likes of Tottenham, Inter Milan, and PSV Eindhoven. Look, Lionel Messi, the greatest footballer of all time. For me, it's not a debate. I know a lot of people will say that Ronaldo's up there. Two fantastic players, but Messi is still in his prime. And while he's at the tail end of it, this might be one of the best chances that he has to pull in another Champions League crown. Pairing up with Luis Suarez, of course, Neymar left before the start of last season. Messi and Suarez have phenomenal rapport. They're both going to just bring an onslaught of goals throughout the competition. And the real question for them at this point is, look, Xavi has been gone for a minute now, and yes, they just left the club. Can Ivan Rakitic and Philippe Coutinho fully fill the void? I think the answer is no. They'll never be as good as Xavi and Iniesta were, just absolute legends. Two of the best Spanish footballers to ever do it. But Coutinho is going to bring a major creative edge that Liverpool supporters like myself are keenly aware of. Rakitic was very impressive, in my opinion, this past summer at the World Cup. But the X factor for me, who will decide whether or not Barcelona are ready to get back to winning the Champions League, is the Frenchman Ousmane Dembele. You know, there was a little bit of transfer chatter going on this summer. Would he leave the club? He decided to stay. And he has absolute superstar potential. If he can start living up to that gargantuan price tag he had before he joined just before the start of last season, that could make Barcelona practically invincible. The only major purchase they made over the summer was Arturo Vidal from Bayern Munich. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays alongside Busquets or if he's going to be more like competition for Sergio Busquets. That is something that'll be a nice little secondary storyline to focus on. But in terms of Tottenham Hotspur, they're still waiting to move into that new stadium. It is a side that made no transfers this summer, the first ever club to do that in the Premier League era. Nevertheless, Mauricio Pochettino has built an increasingly successful project year after year. Curiously, though, there are no trophies to show for it. Harry Kane has a strong claim to make as the best striker in the Premier League. I mean, if the Spurs don't start winning trophies, it almost seems like he's destined automatically to go elsewhere, because he is getting hungrier and hungrier by the year, you know, to finally get his breakthrough. And he is a Tottenham lad, so I'm sure if he had it his way, he would spend his whole career at the club. Look, Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen, the best center back pairing in England, in my opinion. What will ultimately decide if the Spurs are serious about challenging Barcelona, although I think they won't be, is if Dele Alli and Son Heung-min really decide to take their games to the next level. Ali, in my opinion, is a tad bit overrated. Son Heung-min is coming off the incredible emotional high of avoiding military service, earning that exemption by helping South Korea win the Asian Nations Games. And, Hugo Lloris, going to be a major leader for that team, just won the World Cup and wears the captain's armband. Inter Milan boasts a lot of attacking firepower that could create problems for Spurs and Barca. They have the likes of the chain-smoking Raja Nainggolan. Who knows how long his career is going to last with his, smoking habits, but nevertheless a phenomenal, electrifying, attacking player. The controversial Mauro Icardi still, interestingly enough, has the captain's armband for that team. Going to play a massive role for them up top. And then, of course, Ivan Perisic, who wowed many playing for Croatia at the World Cup this summer. Curious circumstances, to say the least, more like controversial and outrageous circumstances that led to Inter Milan making the Champions League. Stefan de Vrij was on his way to Inter Milan from Lazio. Lazio still decided to play de Vrij in the Serie A season finale, and de Vrij committed the penalty that led to Inter Milan taking the lead in that game and ultimately finishing with the fourth and final Champions League spot. I think that creates some incredibly bad karma for Inter Milan, but they still have to definitely be taken seriously. There's no doubt about that. PSV Eindhoven, look, Luc de Jong has to play the football of his life to give his team a shot to get out of fourth place. He has 68 goals for PSV thus far. Irving Lozano played a major role for Mexico in the last World Cup, but I just don't see that team really contending for a Europa League spot to out of this group. I think it's, again, going with the chalk. Barcelona winning the group handily, Tottenham finishing in second, not comfortably because they're going to get a major challenge from Inter Milan. I think the second place spot comes down to the last day of play, with Inter Milan finishing third and PSV Eindhoven taking fourth. Please be sure to join my UEFA Champions League Fantasy League. I'll put all the information there to join in the comments, and look forward to getting your feedback as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel.